Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Kong Wei Yan. I'm a consultant physician and nephrologist. So I'm going to give you a brief talk today with the title of Save Your Sight, Learn More, See Better. This is a simplified diagram of the eye. So the eye is, of course, also known as the window of the soul, as you know. So the actual eye anatomy is, of course, much more complicated than this one. You can take a look at this, at the anatomy, simplified diagram of the anatomy of the eye. Let me show you some scary statistic. On average, people in Malaysia spend about 14 hours per day on electronic devices. Maybe some of these people are excusable because they use their gadgets to work. A lot of them, a lot of their work involve using the gadgets. But look at the second part, the statistic. 1 out of 6 people spend 9 hours on social media platforms. It means that these people, they are not using their gadgets for work or for study. They are literally spending so many hours on social media platforms alone. And this is quite scary. We have to take care of our eyes now because, as you know, prevention is always better than cure. As you know, as I was clearly pointing out just now, excessive screen time is not healthy. How does screen time affect our eyes? I'm going to show you a few things. Excessive screen time can, of course, cause a few issues. The most common one being short-sightedness, or what we call myopia, and also dry eyes, and also eye fatigue. What is myopia? Myopia is a type of refractive error. Try to look at the diagram of normal vision and myopic vision here. So when we have normal vision, when we see an object or a light, the light or the object will be reflected at the normal focal point. However, when we have myopia, or what we call 近视感息 in Chinese, then the light or the object that we are seeing, the reflection will fall on a focal point which is in front of the usual focal point. What are the risk factors of myopia? A lot of people with myopia essentially have a very strong family history of myopia. And as you know, for example, in Malaysia, Chinese who have myopia, ethnic Chinese who have myopia are much more common than ethnic Malay and ethnic Indian with myopia. Another risk factor is near work, especially people who need to work with their gadgets. The third risk factor is, of course, lack of outdoor activities. This is quite scary considering this past 2.5 to 3 years during our pandemic. A lot of our children, they cannot go out from home. So they have lack of outdoor activities, and also they are forced to use a lot of gadgets for their online learning. So this is almost like a double whammy. What are the symptoms of myopia? So again, as I mentioned, when you have myopia, you can have blurry distant vision. So you can see near object quite clearly, but you cannot see object far clearly. Some students or some young kids, they don't know how to complain to you that they have got blurry distant vision. So you might be able to see that they keep on squinting their eyes. And some children even present with reduced school performance just because they really couldn't see what their teachers are teaching them. This is a diagram to show the differences between normal vision, myopic vision, and hyperopic vision. So this is just for comparison, for you to have a clearer idea. So normal vision, you're able to see near and far objects clearly. Myopic vision, which is what we call 近视 or 感息, then you can see near object clearly, but you cannot see far object clearly. Hyperopic vision is the other way around. Hyperopic vision, we call them 远视 or 晕视, or some people call it 老花. In this situation, you are not able to see the near object clearly, but you can see the far object clearly. And this usually happens in people who are aging. Let me show you another scary statistic again. And just in this 2.5 to 3 years of pandemic time, myopia progression among children has increased to 62.4% as compared to 45.9% before pandemic. This is a large jump in the percentage. So if you think myopia is no big deal, just required to wear a pair of glasses, and doesn't affect anything else. So if you think like that, you are wrong, basically. So let's take a look at this data here. When you have myopia, depending on the severity of your myopia, then you might be at increased risk of developing cataracts, glaucoma, retinal detachment, and myopic macular degeneration. In other words, when you have myopia, then your risk of developing all these severe eye problems are much higher than the general population who does not have myopia. For example, the level of my myopia is around -5. So the chances of me developing cataract will be 3 times higher. The chances for me developing glaucoma will be 4 times higher than people who don't have myopia. And the chances for me to develop retinal detachment and myopic macular degeneration is almost 10 times higher. This is quite scary. Another symptom that you can have from increased screen time would be dry eye, which can manifest with sensitive to light, blurry vision, eye itchiness, teary or red eyes. And just imagine, when you have eye itchiness, what are you going to do? The first thing you're going to try to do is to rub your eyes, right? So the act of rubbing your eyes might be doing further damage to your cornea, which further, cause some damage to your eyes, which might or might not be reversible. The third common thing that is associated with increased screen time is headache. Is what we call eye fatigue, which can manifest with the following symptoms of headache, twitching eyes, and stinging of the eyes. What can you do to take better care of your eyes? Essentially, all these methods are quite simple. It just depends on whether you want to do it or not. It's not going to cost you a lot of money, but it's going to take a lot of discipline to do all this. Number one is, of course, reduce screen time. Try to set a realistic goal. For example, if you're using 6 hours to 8 hours a day, it's impossible to cut it to less than 1 hour a day of screen time. So you can just try to aim to cut 1 hour. For example, from 6 hours to 5 hours, and when you are able to achieve that, then you cut again. Try to set a realistic goal instead of trying to set a non-realistic goal until you get so frustrated and you don't even want to keep on trying anymore. The second method is take regular breaks. There's a rule of 20-20-20, which says that with every 20 minutes of near work means when you're looking, at your gadget at a near distance, then you try to look at an object which is 20 feet away. 20 feet is about 6 meters away, and then try to do that for 20 seconds. And then you repeat the whole process. Every 20 minutes you do near work, you try to look at an object 20 feet away for 20 seconds. This is a very good method to relax your eyes. And number three, you can do frequent blinking, for example, about 15 to 20 times per minute. Every time you blink, you are able to rest your eyes, and then your eye lubricant will also, be able to moisture your eyes to reduce the chances for you getting dry eyes. And then number four, you can put on a pair of blue light filter, which I'll elaborate further. And this is quite important as well. Proper screen and sitting position. There are a few rules. Number one is trying to adjust the screen slightly below eye level. Another one is another rule, which is called the rule of 1, 2, and 10. And this rule simply means if you are using a mobile phone, you try to put it 1 foot away. That's the ideal distance. When you're trying to use desktop or laptop, then you put about 2 feet away. And then when you're trying to watch TV, the TV should be 10 feet away. So this is the 1, 2, 10 rule to protect yourself from being in a very near position, near distant from the gadget. And then try to adjust the font size as well. Try to pick a font size that is suitable to your vision, and try to sit upright instead of leaning here and there. Of course, when we are on the computer, we have the tendency to adjust our position, our movement, right? Try to limit that by just sitting upright, and that should be a more proper position to look at the screen. As I mentioned just now, all these kind of methods needs a lot of discipline. It's not expensive, but it needs a lot of discipline. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the blue light, and we always talk about the blue light. How is it harmful to the eyes, and then the blue light filter. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that to elaborate further. Blue light, natural blue light is good, but blue light from devices would be harmful under excessive usage. Blue light from devices, the examples are LED lights, lights from the electronic devices or gadgets, and also lights from TV. The blue light passes through our cornea directly to the center of our retina and damage the cells. We can have mild to severe side effects from the blue light depending on how long you use the blue light. Over time, blue light can cause straining of our eyes because of overuse, and it will lead to dry eyes, blurry vision, headache, stress, dizziness. However, if we are using blue light and exerting our eyes in long run very frequently, then it might lead to eye issues like age-related macular degeneration, cataracts, and glaucomas. These are almost the same complication or side effect that can develop with myopia. So just be very careful. There is something called the blue light filtering glasses, or some people simply call it blue light glasses. These glasses are designed to provide relief from the uncomfortable side effect associated with staring at the screen, from the blue light that is emitting from our gadgets. So these glasses have special lenses that block or at least filter out certain light wave from devices, and maybe is going to have a good protective effect to our retina. What else can you do to protect your eyes? These are so-called the smart glue. S stand for sleep more. When you are sleeping, then you can rest your eye more. More vegetable and fruits, which will be able to help to improve our vision. A stand for active outdoors activities. As I mentioned just now, the lack of outdoor activity might put more strain to our eyes and cause us to become more prone to getting myopia. R stand for reduce gadget usage, and T, basically is time. Uh, One of the example is the 20-20-20 rule that I was mentioning to you. How about parental roles? So the responsibility of the parents should be monitor if there are any eye symptoms, and also set good example to the children. If you as a parent use your gadget for 10 hours just to look at social media, I'm quite sure your kids will be following the same. And then, of course, have to check with the teachers regularly whether your kids are able to follow, the teaching at class, or whether they have got frequent squinting behavior of the eyes and so on. So at least, if your kids have all this kind of presentation, you can attend to them earlier to pick up the eye problem earlier, so that we can intervene earlier. So take home message, know the pros and cons of screen time, regular eye examination, and of course, we need to practice visual hygiene. I think with that, I thank you for your attention.